Joining me now is Marco Lambertini, who you just saw in Nathan King's piece, addressing the participants. He's the International Director of the World Wildlife Fund and joins me from Montreal. Marco, we saw you get quite emotional addressing some of these delegates. Explain to me, perhaps, to us, to our viewers, why this was such a moving, emotional moment for you.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is emotional because it's been a long time that we've been waiting for this moment, a moment for nature, a moment where the world sends a clear message. Nature matters to all of us, and particularly to the most vulnerable populations that are depending on nature directly, including the voices of indigenous people that you heard before. So it is an historic moment, and it is an historic moment that sets the world on a course to halt and reverse nature loss by 2030. We never had such an ambitious and clear goal for nature. And this is the equivalent of the 1.5 degrees that Paris agreed on climate. Finally, we have an equivalent goal for nature. And in fact, the two together are going to make our future much safer, much more sustainable and healthy. So it is a great moment. And, you know, I just became a grand uncle. So I had my little grandnephew in my arms a few weeks ago. And I kind of feel I can look into his eyes and feel more comfortable, feel more hopeful.
Well, it's certainly nice to see that optimism and hope. But as you know, there was a lot of obstacles along the way, a lot of differences, especially when it comes to financing for developing countries. So what has been agreed to, in your opinion? Does it go far enough?
Look, we never had more resources pledged for biodiversity. We have agreed under the Kunming-Montreal Agreement a 200 billion of mobilizational resources from all sources by 2030, and a 30 billion specifically of international financial flows to developing countries. So it's not perfect. We want more. We want to see more. But it's up to us now to mobilize more resources on top of what the government has agreed. It is a great start for the right mobilization of resources, particularly towards the south, where the majority of biodiversity is, where the means to protect biodiversity are lower. So we are positive about the outcome, and of course we want to work and, first of all, deliver the resources, make sure that they do flow to the global south, but also work also with the private sector to mobilize more.
Marco, are there any kind of mechanisms to hold countries accountable for the promises and commitments that they make? We've seen in past climate conferences, there's a lot of promises, a lot of pledges, and unfortunately, a lot of them just don't hold their side of the agreement.
Yeah, so, I mean, of course, an agreement is an agreement. What counts most is the implementation. But the difference is that this agreement is making everybody much more accountable towards nature conservation, because finally, as I said, we have a clear, measurable global goal. We want to halt and reverse nature loss. We know how much nature we're losing. We can measure when we actually are able to bend the curve. So that will put a lot of pressure on governments and companies to shift to investments and practices in key economic sectors that are sustainable. They are compatible with nature. And that was a key advocacy element for us and for many other organizations. Make sure that the goals and the targets in the agreement were measurable, so that we can actually hold everyone accountable. And that's a new dimension for nature. We never had such clarity before. So I'm hopeful that this agreement will push for more action, more investments, and more importantly, deliver a nature-positive world, a world where there is more nature, no less.
And Marco, very quickly, we're running out of time. I wanted to talk to you about China's contribution. As you know, China held the rotating presidency. Would this agreement have been possible without China's mediation?
China played a fundamental role. Let's remember, this is an agreement with almost 200 countries, so it's not easy, particularly now, with the economic pressures around the world, with the geopolitical fractures, to forge such an agreement. I will commend later in my final closing statement the presidency, and of course all the parties and the host country, Canada, for working all together. This has been a major collective effort, and the presidency of China has played a fundamental role.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Marco Lambertini.